Hi everyone, it's V with Bees and Everything. Today is my favorite day because I'm harvesting honey. And this is actually my second harvest of the year. I have harvested about 40 pounds in July, and we are at the end of August, and I am harvesting another 40 pounds. So this has been really an amazing year, and this is my third year in beekeeping, and it's really all paying off this year. And I've heard before, and I was told that in the spring you have to choose if you're going to be growing bees or growing honey. But this year I've really proven to myself that you can really do both. And this really, I think, has to do with the weather this year. And we've really had abundant rain in the summer and spring. So I think just the flow was really good in both seasons. And maybe you have heard about summer nectar dearth. That's when basically there's a theory that there's a lot more nectar in the spring because of all the blooming trees. But obviously that can be done in the summer too because I am harvesting summer honey. And I think it's because we've had a lot of rain. And so there was more blooms during the summer season. So let's talk about how to harvest honey. So if you are harvesting an entire super, I really like using these escape boards. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So it's a board with like this little maze for the bees, and they go through it out of the super, but they can't get back in. You can only use this for about 24 hours because after 24 hours, they will start figuring out how to get back into the super. So the way you use it is you would put the board under the super that you're trying to harvest. So this would go under this super here, and the super will sit on top of this side with the opening, and the triangle will be facing down. And the bees will go inside the triangle and out into the hive, but they can't get back in. You just have to make sure that you really don't give them more than 24 hours. And so the next day you go in, you open the hive, and there's really going to be very few bees left in this box. And you can just, simply shake them off or brush them out. And basically the whole super is clear of bees and you're ready to go. You could also just take a couple of frames, and you can even mix, a couple frames from different hives, and just make sure if you're doing that, that you're bringing an empty super with you to put the frames in. And you can just, shake the bees off, or you can brush them off with a bee brush, or just knock them off a little bit. And that works great too. So now I want to show you how to actually harvest the honey out of these frames. And there are really a couple ways, and the two most popular ones are using this knife. It's a really long knife like this. And basically the idea would be that you go from top and you're scraping the tops off. But I find this really hard to use because very rarely will you have a frame that's completely flat. And, a lot of times it's a little wavy like this. I'll show you a little profile. It's a little wavy. It's just not all even. So the uneven surface is kind of hard to cut with a knife like that. See those waves on it? And so my favorite way to do this is actually using this little comb. And this is really handy. It takes a little technique, but it goes by pretty quick. And I'm going to show you how I use it. And I will hand the camera to my helper for today, Bucky. Bucky, would you please film it now? Thank you so much. So I will take my comb and I will start on top. And basically I'm going in on an angle, pointing down, and I'm kind of scraping just the tops. See, I'm kind of scraping just the tops, and I'm moving. The movement is downward and out, downward and out. And see, it all ends up like this, like a nice film. And I will scrape this off and into my bowl here. And always go with the clean comb. And I will do this entire frame from both sides. And So this is really just releasing basically the wax on top that's covering those honey cells, honeycomb cells, and this will really release the honey when I'm spinning it. If you don't have an extractor, you could just do this and let the honey kind of drip out, but you're not really going to get all of the honey out that way. You could also take all of the comb out with the honey, but that way, you're also taking all the work that the bees did to draw the comb, and it really takes a lot of resources for the bees to draw the comb. So when you're beekeeping, you really always want to try to keep the comb intact. So you're really just taking the tops, and when I'm done with this and I spin the honey out, I will give these frames right back to the bees, and they will clean it and they will fill it back in. They don't have to do any more, building. They will just fill it in, repair it a little bit, and then cap it off again. It's a good idea also, if you can, freeze the frames for 24 hours. And freezing the frames that kills any, larva or egg that may be there from the wax moths. So it's always a good idea to throw it in the freezer for a little bit if you can. If not, it's not a good idea. If you're just taking a couple of the frames out of the hive, definitely want to replace them really soon, within 24 hours. Otherwise, the bees will just start drawing comb in the empty space, and it's going to be a funny comb, and you're not going to be able, to put the frames back in. You'll have to just take it apart, and that's just a waste of their time and effort. So when I'm done with this, I will do the other side, and then we're gonna put this in the manual honey extractor, and Bucky will demonstrate how to do that. All right, now I will take the camera back, and Bucky will show you how the extractor works. So here it is. So it has these two lids, and you will open them up, and there's space to put 2 frames, and you will close it out. You have to make sure that this downspout here is nicely tight closed so you don't get honey on the floor. And then you put a lot of pressure in the middle here, and then spin it really fast. And the idea is basically the honey flies out. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Bucky. It really doesn't take much, maybe just about 30 seconds. And then you would go and flip the frames. So I have to go and flip it. Ooh. So both sides will get spun. There we go. And I want to show you what it looks like when it's all out. Look at that. So see, all the cells are intact and the honey is out there empty. So now you can give it back to the bees, or you can freeze it for a little bit if you can, and then give it back to the bees, and they will fill it right back in. So now I have the honey inside this barrel on the bottom, and I will use this downspout here to empty that container, and I will empty it inside my double sieve here. This is a special double sieve, so it has two different sizes. So this first one will catch any big pieces of wax, and the other one will catch anything small. And this really works great. It really catches all the wax and nothing gets inside the honey. And I like to use this bowl with the spout here because it's easier to pour into my jars. And here is the final product. As you can see, it's beautiful light amber color. And this is what the honey looks like when you just mix all the frames together. And if you wanted to, you could also keep it separate, because I will show you, as the bees are foraging, they will find different forage. So some honey will be a little bit darker, and some honey will be lighter. and it depends on what plants were they foraging on. And I will also show you what you will find, and it's really cool, is sometimes, see, you have the light honey on this side, and then you have like a little pocket of a dark honey. So, depending on the time and what was blooming, you could really tell, this is, let's say, clover honey, and this could be a buckwheat honey. And if you really wanted to, you could even separate them and spin the different frames separately, and that way you will get different colors and tastes of honey. And when we're harvesting honey, it's really fun because we do like a little taste test. And see, this one has all the dark honey here, and some people like dark honey, some people like light honey. I just really like honey. And Becky likes really honey, right? All right. So it was really fun harvesting honey today. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have an amazing day.